Let's see what happens here. Hello. Alrighty, so you heard me cursing a little while ago. There's no one more inept than me when it comes to this stuff. So thanks for bearing with me. Can you guys hear me okay? Please give me a hello. Yes, you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Awesome. Well, there's like I said, there's not a lot of people that are less knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'm doing this on my phone because it's supposed to be easier. That's kind of funny too. But so I'm not going to be able to hear the comments too well or watch the comments too well unless I zoom back. And so if you're going to ask me questions, I apologize. Um, in advance. Although what I can see if I can see myself on my own channel, maybe just maybe I'll be able to follow along that way. Let's see what happens here. Maybe. Ah, okay. So if you can hear me, then I can look at the videos here. I mean, I could look at the comments here. So I can talk here and read the comments here. So there, it's all very high tech now. I can't believe it. But sorry about the cursing a little while ago. I do need lessons from Jordan. Jordan's a pro at this. Jordan goes live all the time, and I don't, obviously, clearly don't. But the reason I prompted this particular live chat is because, well, first of all, I was as a lot of people who know me, I don't throw anything out, anything, and it's to my detriment actually, because I lug around boxes. I mean, I had this particular thing I just found in my storage unit, a scrapbook, and I was going to share something about a story that you might find kind of interesting. Some people want to wonder how I got such an unusual perspective on life and stuff like that. So this is one of the things that actually took place. So actually, what I'll do is I'm going to tell you that story in a little bit. Before I get going, though, I wanted to show you a couple of things that I got in the mail that I think are pretty awesome. Now, this one I opened because I didn't realize it was a gift, but this is a gift from a pal in from England. It's Anthony from England. And he knew that I was really into the Manson stuff. And he sent me this. It says Charlie Says. I think this is the one with the Doctor Who guy. And I did see this one time. And hey, Nancy Santa Maria Latica. Thank you. Thank you very much. This I saw this once, but I'm glad to have a copy of it because this was a really good, I thought, a really good representation. I think I may have even worked on it. Um, I remember doing a some kind of event with these people that made this movie. I'm pretty sure, and it was interesting because it's the girl's perspective. It's the Krenwinkel Van Houten perspective. So anyway, I am going to check that out, and thank you, Anthony from England, for sending that to me. Now this is from lovely Joanne and from Dallas, and I'm not going to say her name out loud because I don't know if she wants to be identified. But but I don't know what this is. This just showed up in my inbox, so it could be Anthrax, for all I know. Okay, so Joanne says, "Thanks for the hours of education you provided. Enjoy the small items enclosed. Best regards." Okay, so I am. What's this? Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. This is a Mae West check. Kimberly Beal, how funny. No, no, yours is coming up. This is so funny. It's a total coincidence, but this just came in from lovely Joanne and Dallas, and this is really cool. And it's even more cool because that address is iconic. It was May's home for 40 years, and I've actually, I know Kimberly, isn't it? I've actually been in that house, and I don't know how much I'm supposed to divulge about that, but this is pretty awesome, and that's really cool. So thank you, Joanne. And this is loved your Cecil Hotel episode. Whoa, whoa! Check this out. This is a envelope from the Cecil Hotel. That is crazy. Can you guys see that? That is so cool. Neat. Neat, 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 neat. Wow, this is really, that is something else. And the postmark is, what does he in the light? 1920? 1926? I'll have to do that. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that. But thank you. Hey, Michael, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your donation. I appreciate it. That is very cool. Yeah, well, for those of you who may not have seen it, I did an episode of Ghost Adventures, and I hate Zach Bagans' comments, but it was cool. It was cool because we got free run of the hotel, and I actually took some video on the roof that Zach made sure that I could go up there. He had somebody take me up there, and so I put it all together, and it's on my YouTube channel. In the back, you'll see a Cecil Hotel video about the Elisa Lam business. So cool. I'm very excited about that. So thank you very much, Joanne. Now, this is very special. And this is from my friend Kimberly Beal. Excuse me, Kimberly, if you get a chance on eBay and on Etsy, it's called Hollywood Treasure Hunters. And Kimberly Beal and lovely Greg run this, and they go to estate sales and they pick some of the coolest stuff out. They are so kind and so generous. Kimberly likes to, give people things from these estate sales. She's so generous and kind, and stuff that like Christmas ornaments from celebrities, and ended up on my tree, and rosemary. I mean, there's so many. But this was from an estate sale that she went to, and she was sending me pictures. And it was like, there's so many things that was so interesting. But I'll tell you, this is from the estate sale of Paul Stanley of the group Kiss. And Kimberly asked me, if I wanted anything, and I couldn't think of anything what I wanted. And and then she says, I got you something. And this is Paul Stanley's toilet paper. I freaking love this. Paul Stanley's toilet paper from Paul Stanley's house. That so if you please go to Kimberly's Etsy page, Hollywood Treasure Hunters, and the eBay page is also Hollywood Treasure Hunters. Now the Kimberly, when she was there, she got bottles of booze from Paul's estate, and if you go to eBay, she's selling them on there. You could buy little shots from Paul Stanley's house. And there's proof and everything. I mean, Kimberly would never make that up. And she's selling shots of his booze on eBay. So and also recently went to Priscilla Presley's estate and got a ton of stuff, and that stuff's going up there. So she goes to celebrity estate sales and high-end estate sales. And she's very, she's an interior designer. She's very, very good. But she also has, like, she's a regular person like us. I wouldn't expect that normally from somebody, because I don't know. People that deal with nice, expensive things, and I don't usually click too well, but we do, and we have a great time. And Kimberly actually lives, this is the weird part, Kimberly lives in Mae West's house, in Mae West's actual apartment, where Mae West lived for 40 years, and Kimberly lives there. So, it was a real honor just to be able to meet her and to go to the house, because she showed up at the Dearly Departed Tourist garage sale, and when we were trying to raise money for the Mansfield car. And we just hit it off. And she introduced me to Allison Martino from Vintage Los Angeles, and the whole Tarantino thing, we all clicked really, really well. So when I heard that the new Beverly Cinema was going to be reopening, it was kind of hurt because I'm not in LA anymore. But hey ho, what are you gonna do? Paul Stanley, toilet paper, kiss my ass. Thank you, thank you so much, Kimberly. This is so awesome. And the Cecil Hotel thing is so awesome, and the Charlie Says video is so awesome. So you guys are really kind. I had just shot a couple of days ago a video, and of opening more stuff because I got a ton of stuff. I mean, it's stuff I found on eBay, and or somebody. Most of the time, people are sending me cool things, and I opened it the other day. Troy shot the video, so it's going to be look a lot better than it does with me doing this business. And I'll be posting it probably in the next day. And there's some really cool stuff, accident scene stuff, and yeah, it's very, very cool. So if you're subscribed to my channel, you'll be notified of that. And if you subscribe to my channel, you probably saw the video I did. Released 2 days ago of that crazy shop, Dave's Pawn Shop in El Paso, with all that insane. Oh my God, stuff. The Fiji Mermaid was a thing, and the Freak Show poster, and all that insane memorabilia all over the place. So if you haven't checked out that video, it's pretty. I loved it. Of course, I love being there, and it was one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. And let's see, the Ghost of Mae West visits nightly. The Ghost of Mae West has not appeared. Nancy, Casey, Nancy, thank you very much. Has not appeared, so to speak, but made herself known by making herself known. Chandelier moving. Greg plays guitar and notes, no one around it, and the guitar, was pinging, so she's definitely there, and not in a bad way, in a good way, because she thinks that I believe that, Kimberly, we know that Kimberly loves Mae West. I mean, she bought Mae's coat of arms at an auction and hung it up where Mae actually had it hung up. So there's a lot of love and a lot of respect. So I will say that. And then, so anyway. But let's see now. The reason I was, I figured some people ask me how I'm so, why I'm so weird. And one of the things that happened to me when I was growing up, I think shaped part of my distorted, no, that's a negative connotation to it. Twisted, kind of slanted, just not of the norm. And I shared the picture on my Facebook page a little while ago, but 1972, I think you guys have probably heard, I always say this, that I lived in a very dangerous intersection in Detroit, and people were killed in front of my house, in car accidents. It happened, once or twice a year. And it wasn't to look at it. It wasn't that intimidating of an intersection. However, the streets, it was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 roads intersected in front of our house, and there was a circular island in front of the house. And so you always had to go around the island. And at nighttime, when people were drunk, they would forget that there's an island dead in front of them, and they would slam into it, or another car would run a red light or whatever. But it happened all the time. I mean, a lot, a couple times, several times a year. You know the sound. You could tell almost just by the sound of the brakes whether they're going to hit or not. It's pretty dramatic. And one time, I was playing tag with friends. I was, 1972, I think it was. I think I took that picture out and posted it. 72, it was April. It was April of 70. April 2nd of 1973. And we were playing tag, and I literally ran out of the alley into the street, and this guy must have gone about 20, I would guess. And he slammed into me. Now, it's totally my fault. And I remember vividly, twisting around in the air and screaming and landing across the street. And it's because I remember trying to wake up. It was, I was shaking my head like, what is going on here? And the next thing I remember, people were sort of hanging or, standing over me. And the ambulance came, and I went to the hospital. It's the only time I ever actually was ever in an ambulance, knock wood. And so I ended up with this cast down from my thigh all the way down to my toes. This is before, they had those cool, uh, you can walk around on them casts. I forget what bone it was that I broke, but it had an entire leg cast. So my school, I was going to an elementary school called Stellwagen. It was Detroit Public Schools on the east side. It's where I lived, corner of Whittier and East Outer Drive. And my public school would not let me go back to my public school because I had my leg in a cast and I was on crutches. I didn't even know how to I didn't even know how to walk on crutches yet. And I was laying, mostly on the sofa all the time because I didn't know. I was scared to death to go up and down the stairs to my bedroom, and so I was sleeping like in the TV room, and I couldn't go up and down the stairs. And my school wouldn't let me go to that school anymore because of the potential liability of me going up and down the stairs with crutches on. So they sent me to another Detroit public school, and this public school was for disabled people. I say handicapped people, and I can say handicapped because I spent my time there. And people get angry saying that's on PC. I don't care. It's my life. I spent more time there and than not, and I don't know. So I'll say handicapped people. So they sent me to the school called White Orthopedic and White Orthopedic School in Detroit. And because it was kind of far away, they would send the public schools. It was amazing. They did this, sent a taxi to my house every day to pick me up. So a taxi would pick me up. I remember Norm was the taxi driver. Good old 45. That was the number of the taxi, and he picked me up. And then we stopped at like three other places to pick other kids that were disabled, handicapped, and we went to this white elementary school. And it was bizarre because this was like Detroit Public Schools. I don't know if any of you guys are ever in band or an orchestra. They give you a violin to play, and this violin was like chewed up. I mean, it's all kinds of gacks in it and cracks and everything like that. Well, the Detroit Public Schools, this stuff was archaic. Well, by our standards, this is 72, so that was like 40 years ago. Um, I mean, these are like the changeling wheelchairs, the old wicker ones with the and people. It was all sorts of disabilities. There was people that would have seizures. They wore those big leather helmet things because they would. It was all the time stuff like that happened in school. I mean, we were just walking down the hall, and then someone would hit the ground and start seizing up, and it was down to a system. They knew what was going on, and they knew how to handle it. And it was really bizarre because, being 10, 11 years old, I'd never been around that before. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience for me, and I'm glad I did it. Or I'm glad it happened to me. It wasn't by choice, and I didn't want it to happen, but it happened, and it made me a better, more well-rounded person. And so there was this one girl, I forget what her name was. Well, I wouldn't even say her name if I did. She could stand there and she would bend her legs backwards. She would just sit there and she'd go, and her legs would actually literally bend backwards and go back like, 6 or 8 inches. It was bizarre. And it was fascinating because people were not self-conscious about it. Everyone had their disability, and I was here, my stupid crutches. I couldn't go anywhere. And here I was amongst all these interesting people. But one of the most interesting things that I remember is that we would go to lunch hour, but since the school was nowhere near, when I went to Stellwagen, the elementary school, I could walk home for lunch and then walk back. But I couldn't because this place is quite far away. So we packed a lunch, which I never had to do before, and we'd sit in the auditorium and eat our lunch. And this is the most surreal thing that ever happened to me, I think. And we were sitting in this auditorium in these old wooden, seats, and on the stage was this parade of disabled people. And those old crutches, not I had the wooden ones, but I mean the ones that had the cups around them, that I found very difficult. I could never navigate those. And these wheelchairs and this all these canes and they were on stage doing a figure eight and and singing Yankee Doodle Dandy. They were doing a production number of Yankee Doodle Dandy. All these people on this stage in front of me at lunch doing a figure eight in wheelchairs and crutches. And it was one of the most surreal, wonderful experiences I've ever had. And I'm glad, I'm glad because it opened the doors for me. I mean, I worked for the Muscular Dystrophy Association for several years doing their summer camp program. And it sort of took the stigma away from, people with disabilities. If I see a wheelchair, I'll hop in it. It doesn't bother me. And maybe people would feel disrespected if I did that. And I mean no disrespect. I'm very comfortable around that. So it doesn't, I would be respectful as I can to people. But I also, it doesn't intimidate me like it would some people. I don't like ever dance around it. So anyway, so going to this school, I was eligible, since it was a Detroit public school, to go to summer camp. And that's where this package comes in. Oh, okay. So I couldn't go to school. I told you that. So the teacher, okay, look at these pictures. I don't know if you could even see that. That's me. And now you put a little sign there, me, in case you were wondering. I saved all these stupid get well soon cards from that time. And the teacher made these kids and these are kids that hated my guts too. So many of them did. These are cards from my broken leg, and all the get well cards that I got from people, and so many of them are dead now. And God, it's so nice. But my teacher had made my schoolmates do cards for me, and it was just so sweet. So many of them did poems, and even the people I hated did poems. Hickory dickory dock, Scott ran up the clock. The clock struck one, and down he come with a broken leg. And that was that. Let's see some of these other ones. One of them was real dicky. Hickory dickory dock, Scott went up the clock. When he was up there, a car was up there, and he slid down black and blue. there's somebody drew this picture. Here's another one. Get well soon. That's nice. My best friend Bill Leonard, who I vaguely remember. I think he was a nice guy. I don't know. Get well soon. Can you believe it? So I can finally get rid of this stuff. Get well quick because we want you back. Scott, you broke your leg. Is it okay? Get well quick. Just a little poem. Scott be nimble. Scott be quick. Scott didn't jump over the street so quick. These people are so sweet. Here's look at this. Look. Rosa red violets are black. Scott hit a car and now there's a dent in the back. Little Scott Michaels run into the street. Along came a car, knocked him down. Poor Scott Michaels, not very poetic. Get well. And I hope you didn't lost our pennant for safety. Oh yeah, safety. Yeah, that's the priority here. Is they wanted their pennant for the safety patrol, which was the guards, the crossing guards. But look at some of these. They went to a lot of trouble. And I mean, somebody even drove made a picture of my. I'm gonna cover the name there, but a picture of the tree in front of my house too. And come on, get up, move on. We need you in school. On your mark, get set, go. That was. This is the weirdest thing. This is from our next door neighbor. I'm gonna cover up the name, but this says, Mr. Flower. I smell so sweet. I look so nice. People love to pick me, but be careful. I die very fast. But then children love to pick me. And then I only have one life to live, just like you. So that's something. Look, I mean, I've got my report cards. I mean, this is from that school too. This is from that white orthopedic school. I have got to burn this stuff because I don't want this stuff. And I was never very good in school. It was always my conduct that I always got the low marks on. So, God, but anyway, I found like bozo autographs in here, and I found the receipt that my mother, the bill for having me, and I forget what it was. This I guess this was attached to my crib. It gives me the exact time and date of my birth, and well, anyway, you don't really care about that. I was just curious. It was like a $200 birth my mother paid for. My mother saved everything, and that's where I got it from. My mom, she loved and saved everything, and and then she gave me this whole box of stuff, and I still have it. So the point of this video, well, there was one shitty get well seen card. Oh my god, this one. Scott and Jill was chasing Scott and ran into the street and broke his leg, and Jill came tumbling after. Look, but these are, we used to go. You have attendance sheets in school, and I saved those. I'm totally gonna burn this. I cut out the movie things from stuff that I wanted, or movies that I wanted. Oh my god. Little Scott Michaels out in the street and hurt his feet. I know this is boring, but I find it interesting. And this is, every medical thing that I have is here. So anyway, where I was going, I think this is the Dicky one. Yeah, this was a kid, one of the people. I was bullied a lot, but then I think that's just normal growing up stuff. But this says roses are red, violets are blue. Dear Scott Michaels, I like you black and blue. That was from one of the dicks. But by far, people were kind, and I'm still friend. Actually, my buddy Paul is in this chat room, I think, and he was one of the people I went to grade school with. It's so cool to still be in touch with a lot of these people. So, all right, the point of this. Since I was in this school called White Orthopedic School for Disabled People, here's something. I've got my EDD or EDD. This is my first time I was ever in a newspaper. This is from the Michigan Catholic newspaper, and it was United Nations Day. So all our kids were, nowadays they would consider it, appropriation, cultural appropriation. Back then we called it celebrating different cultures, and it was United Nations Day. And if you look real closely, where am I? That's me appropriating Mexican culture in church. But this. So, all right, now I had to go to summer camp, or I didn't have to go. I was offered to go to summer camp. I've never been to summer camp before. So I got a week, and they took us all on a bus. This is all Detroit Public Schools. And the camp was called Tau Beta. And it was, I believe, in a place called Columbiaville, Michigan. And I still have, this is my White Orthopedic School bus transportation thing. And Camp Tau Beta. This was up in Columbiaville, Michigan. And I think that's up by Lapeer or something like that. Clam Road. And here's a map. Here's a map of the camp. And there was a dining hall. And these people, a lot of people were in wheelchairs and crutches, like I said. So it had to be a pretty accessible camp. However, it wasn't one of those things back then. When I used to work at Muscular Dystrophy Summer Camp, and we were assigned one-on-one to one person. You were their arms, you were their legs for a whole week. That's all you did. You did that one thing, help that one person all week long. And this was at a camp up in near the Thumb in Michigan, Lexington. And it was on a hill, and there was the beach. And the beach was probably, it was so steep. If it was a dead drop from where the stairs should have been, all the way down, it's about 50 feet down, but it was sandy. And we we put plywood, non-fastened down plywood, laid it out, and we would take people in wheelchairs down to the water. And some of these people were really big, and you had to back them down this plywood, loose plywood ramp, and then at the end of it, you get to dead sand, and you're pulling a wheelchair with this dead weight of this person who cannot move. God bless him. So we yanked, it took like 6 guys to do each and every one of these people. It was crazy. There was no access business back then. It was pretty intense. So anyway, this summer camp wasn't as intense as that was, but it was interesting, and it was at this Tau Beta, and what brought up this memory the other day. I was listening to that song, Dr. John, Right Place, Wrong Time, because I remember that was a big song that summer, I believe. And but it had some pretty interesting things. We had a hayride. We had a hayride. We were getting these people on a hayride, and I remember the axle broke, and these poor kids were on this tilted, you know, trailer with a broken axle, waiting there while we went and got cars or other people. I was 10. We had to go, get adults to come and pick everyone up one by one and take them back to the camp. It was so rickety and so ridiculous, and some of it was quite scary because the camp counselors should not have been camp counselors. There were some pretty nasty stuff going on then, and I mean, like, there's that thing where when we were younger, adults would discipline kids, but this is like abuse. I mean, these guys would, and they're not even our parents. They were like the cabin director, would just, make us take our pants down and just whip the crap out of us with belts. I mean, it was nasty. And there were a couple other things that happened that wasn't cool, but they scared the hell out of us. They made up a monster called the Ticonderoga. Now it's funny because I know that's a pencil and it's a ship and all this other business. Back then, I didn't know what it was. They made it up. It was a half man, half bear, and it lived in the woods around this camp. Now we're 10 years old, scared to death of these things, and this old rickety cabin that we were in didn't have there were just screens, but outside were these pieces of wood that hung over them. So instead of windows shutting, they just had a flap. A piece of like a plywood would cover those windows, those screen windows. And they would tell us there's going to be a drill, the Ticonderoga comes around, you just got to get out, or something to that effect. But I don't really understand. I just remember them screaming, "Get out, get out, get out!" But that would mean we'd all have to go out where this horrible monster was. So I didn't really understand that, but I was petrified of this thing. And then in the middle of the night once, what they do is, we're asleep. Now, the middle of the night to me, it's probably 11 o'clock or something. They were probably drinking. And just we were all asleep. It was all dark, and all of a sudden there was this horrible growling and pounding outside. I mean, I'm talking about pounding. And these guys were like, all over the cabin, and we're inside, scared to death. And these guys are, screaming, "Her!" And it was so scary. And it turns out they were using garden claws outside, and because we went outside, and there were claw marks outside. It was terrifying. And I just won't, so to me, that was sort of my main memory of this whole experience. But then going through my scrapbooks, I got, a certificate of a participation in Camp Craft, and I got Nature Study Award signed by Mother Nature. So I must have really liked it. I remember the swimming. That's all I remember. And I got a certificate of participation in waterfront activities in the sweatshirt race, apparently, I was in. And so it's all very strange. But I saved everything. Arts and Crafts Award I got for, can't even read it, my outstanding work. I was there from June of 73, the June 9th to June 20th. That's like 2 weeks, isn't it? That's like 10, 11 days. But that was my art participation, and another swimming participation thing for the seaweed race. So I must have had fun. But I tell you, that other thing really overshadows that, because it was really, it developed into a big fear of mine. The nature is not my friend. And oh, here's another one I found. Here's another. I have the programs from band concerts, and here's another one of me, in case you didn't know. And this was 71, 72. Wow, that was a cool school. We had some fun teachers, and yeah, I had a festival. I had a carnival in my house when I was, what year was this? 73, for Muscular Dystrophy Association. I sold admission. I sold raffle tickets, and what did I raised $17 and sent it to MDA. And I'm so glad I can finally get rid of this stuff. Another concert, Sounds of Christmas. But one of the other things I remember from that camp, I know, we had a lot of friends that were they were black kids, and my sister used to cut hair, and she used to use hairspray on my hair. And just being around these kids, it wasn't like these are my black friends. It wasn't like that. We were at camp, we were together, but there were certain things that was different. And one of the things they did was, this one kid was using Afro Sheen, which is a hair care product that black guys or girls use. Afro Sheen was a thing. And I asked him if I could use it, because I thought it was like hairspray. So I started spraying the Afro Sheen in my hair. And he says, Scott, are you getting an afro? I didn't even know what an afro was. And he said, I remember saying, I'm thinking about it. It's so silly. But anyway, yeah, I'm thinking about getting an afro. But I stayed in touch with one of the counselors from those camps. And he sent me later on this picture. And he says, we saw the Ticonderoga again. And that's the picture he sent me. So that was terrifying to me. And still, yeah, I haven't even looked at this in a long time. Nothing exciting. This guy was so nice. I probably had a crush on him or something like that. But and that's why I stayed in touch with him. But he was a nice guy. Tim Popel was his name. That was a long time ago. He's probably dead by now anyway. But that's my story time, I think. So yeah, I can now go back to your comments to see if there's anything that I'm missing. I just thought you'd be interested to hear that story, because I found all this stuff, and it was an interesting, bizarre thing that I went through, and so yeah, that was that. My buddy Paul says you were hit by a car in front of my place too, my house. Wow. Donnie, thank you, Donnie. It's not quite. It's been hot in Palm Springs. It has, but today's like 85. It's beautiful. Yeah, if you want to see my old house, the old address is 12001 East Outer Drive, Detroit 48224. House still looks the same. It's actually, as those things go, Detroit has hit the skids in a lot of ways. Our neighborhood, our immediate neighborhood, has weathered pretty well with it. And my mom bought the house because she could watch us walk to school, because we were going to a Catholic school for a couple of years. And then I begged my parents to get me out of that school, and that's when I went to Stellwagen, the public school. But yeah. So, but it's cool. It was a cool place. So it was a great place. The neighborhood was a great place to grow up. I loved it. So yeah, it was fun. Camilla, hello. I'm going through these old comments now. See if there's any pictures. A Detroit girl fibula. It was a fibula. No, the bone, it was a tibia, I believe, was a tibia bone. And that was the other time in 82, 81, where I fell off a bridge and broke my right arm and my left foot. And that was another interesting time. But yeah, Courtney, thank you very much. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you. 84. Oh, Kenneth, you're here. Okay, you're in Palm Springs. Went to school for 2 years on crutches. Crutches, I did notice that we bought one of those old wheelchairs too. We had one in the shop, and I did know it's like a bicycle. You get in it, and it's like you can. Well, you remember there was another toy, not a big wheel, but there was another one that was a circular thing, and those work very similar to the way that wheelchairs did or do. Not anymore. Everyone's got electric ones now, but let me tell you, oh man, those people in wheelchairs dragging them down into the sand. Oh, there's nothing crazier. That was a fascinating time, and yeah. Uh, Thank you, Aaron. Well, it's just a preference, I think. But when I was in Britain, I wanted to volunteer, and I called this organization. It was I don't know, gay and lesbian something or other, disabled people. Well, it was handicapped, I thought. So I said, "Oh, I've worked with handicapped people before," and she got really offended. She says, "We don't call them handicapped. We call them disabled." I was like, "All right, fine. I was there. This is my experiences. We call them now. They're called something different. People are called different. They have different abilities or enablements or whatever the correct term is. I don't know. But I was there. It's my history. Screw it. Let's see. Was I interested in Peter Sutcliffe? Yes. Yorkshire Ripper. Yeah. A good friend from Leeds. And yeah, I was interested in Peter Sutcliffe a lot, and who just passed away of COVID not that long ago. Let's see. Double jointed. Is being double jointed, that with the girl that could bend her legs backwards, is that a double jointed thing? I don't know. And why would it mean, permanently disabled in a school for, disabled people, handicapped people? Just the name. I didn't even know how to walk in crutches when I went to that school for the first time, and the lady who was the nurse there had me walking up and down stairs in 5 minutes. And is orthopedic still I guess it is still a term that's used, but that was the name of the school. I was trying to look for it the other day, and I couldn't find much, but I guess it changed. And that's where I was when I was in school. I think yeah. Anyway, yeah, my grandfather passed away at that point too. So anyway. The polio crutches. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, Nick's Longo. Yes, that's what we used. Like the Waltons, the polio crutches, the ones with the cup, and those are still the ones that are used in Britain. I guess America is the only one that uses those wooden ones. But yeah, we used to call them the polio crutches. I know what you mean. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Charleston, West Virginia. Hello, Richard. Oh, Richard. Hey, Richard. Richard, you sent me a package and I opened it, and I'm going to post that video in the next day or so. Richard Lamont, you're going to, am I a medium? No, I'm not. I don't know if that was meant for me, but no. Let's see. Clearly, they didn't hate you as much as you thought. That's right. They didn't. And, there were some things I didn't even mention that were bad, really bad, stuff that shouldn't happen to kids. It wasn't anything really, really sinister, but no, it was not cool. Not cool at all. And whatever kind of karma, I hope they, bad things. They shouldn't hope bad things on people, but they were bad. um, Let's see. Still have my report cards. I mean, the stuff that I have here. Oh, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. Jordan's in here. Loved the hair back then. I loved hair, period. Having hair was good. I was thinking about getting an afro. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm really far back on the comments, so forgive me. I'm trying to catch up here because if anyone asks me any questions, I want to make sure that I'm there. Jordan, what did you just say about the stuff that happened to us that makes us? I missed that comment. Crap. Oh, that's Jose. Hey, Adventures with Jose. It's weird how the stuff that scares us pushes out the good stuff that happened. It's true. It's really true. And yeah, I used to think of myself, as a victim of a lot in a lot of ways, and I had it good compared to a lot of people. So, and it's also kids are just mean, because even the kids that are bullies turn around and bully other people. It's just a terrible cycle until you are aware of it. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Let's see, Ticonderoga. Let's see. Highland Park School was going to destroy all of our records with someone that was a teacher from the year we graduated, gave us our old. That is really cool. Nice to hear that. I remember a girl who was on crutches in my third grade class. I thought it was great when we played school. I was the girl with the crutches. Love to meet you one day. Teenagers from hell. You're not kidding. You're not kidding, man. Some of them were not. You know what? A lot of them were really nice. A lot of them were really nice. But I tell you, the guy that was in charge of our cabin was fucking, I shouldn't swear, but not good. Not a good person. Scott, did you ever get into Rocky Horror? A group of us used to be part of the movie we called The Floor Show at the Fairlane Town Center. Well, yeah, we were at the Punch. We were at the Punch and Judy. So Fairlane, there was Briarwood and Ann Arbor, and we were the Punch. Yeah, I wrote a book about it. You can check it out. It's called Rocky Horror from Concept to Cult, and it's probably for $1 on eBay or something like that. But it's there, and yeah, so I know about Rocky quite well. What do I think about Diego Maradona being a homicide now? Don't want to go there. Can't go there because I don't know much about it. They asked me about if I was visiting Westwood Village Cemetery and a 9.0 earthquake hit and destroyed all of the crypts, but you were uninjured, would you move a few bricks to get a peek of Maryland? Is that, you even have to ask that question? SG, thank you. Who does the creepy voice opening? You know what? I don't know his name. Mike would be able to answer that. I don't know. But I think I might have told you this. Troy and I had a dream that we had an earthquake, and Troy and I woke up and said, "Let's go to Westwood and see if we could see Maryland." That was honest to God a dream. Honest to God a dream. Let's go see Maryland. Podcast. I'm glad you like the podcast. Thank you. Astrological sign Leo, August 18th. You have broken so many bones. I should call you Mr. Glass. Do you ever consider moving back to Detroit or buying something because real estate is so cheap? No. Climate, couldn't deal with it. I don't want to live there anymore. I don't regret a single thing. I love being there. I love growing up there, but I wouldn't want to move back to Michigan. Have you researched Jeffrey McDonald case? Can't say I have. You know what? I'm not going to save this stuff. I got to get rid of this stuff. Let's see. And hey, Ann, it's freezing here, like 50 in the wettest on May Rock. I don't miss the weather in Britain either. I'll tell you that. Disabled is now special needs. Okay. Well, okay. They have special needs, certainly. What a burger or In-N-Out? I would go with what a burger in a heartbeat. I don't care for In-N-Out. I don't have anything wrong with In-N-Out. I just think it's overrated. I think people see the lines and think it's good. It's like Pink's hot dogs. Let's see. Canadian crutches. Okay, that's what they were called. Canadian crutches is the term for the ones with the cups around them, or the thing. Haven't spent much time in Palm Springs yet. No, plan to soon. Larry King once said that the sun in Sanford and Son was probably one of the most prejudiced. Okay. I have been to Sherman's Deli. My buddy Taylor and I had lunch at Sherman's. That was pretty cool. Oh, thanks, Kimberly. Yeah, it's like saying something again. It's like religion out there. In-N-Out and Pink's hot dogs. It's like, no, don't like it. And I mean, I don't hate In-N-Out. I just think it's overrated. Pink's, I think, is gross. That's just my take on it. But hey ho. What do I know? Well, I guess I don't know if I have anything else to share from you guys. I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff at some point. And I don't think my mom and my aunt took me on a vacation. I even saved a Long John Silver's napkin. My Christmas cards from my dead grandmother and my dead aunt. Oh, I can't get rid of those. Dead people's autographs. No, I couldn't. I always saved. I have like the last cards that these people sent me. This is from an admission thing from Boblo Island, and that was an island between Canada and Detroit, well, Michigan and in Canada, and you took a boat there for an hour, and this was an old admission thing, and it was just an amusement park. But the half of the fun of it was taking a boat there, this huge boat, and drop off at this island, and there were rides and everything, and it was really really cool. I think that we had some pretty neat things growing up. We really did. Cedar Point was an amusement park. That was like an hour away though, so I didn't go to that very often when I was growing up. But I think that's it for my show and tell today. The receipts from being born. What is that? Huh. Oh gosh. It's just exhausting to look at all this stuff. And I found it's in here somewhere too. It was the wristband that I wore, that I had for that summer camp. We had a little fair at the end of the year, and I had a wristband for that. I just didn't throw anything. Here it is. It was on the same page as my appropriation photograph. But that was that was the thing for the summer camp. White Orthopedic Fun Day is what it was called. And wow, these names. Hooey. But yeah. But now I'm just prattling on about nothing. I do have a Bozo autograph. This is the Detroit one, the Detroit Bozo, Mr. Calliope and Mr. Houdini and Sam the Snake. Let's see. Karen Beer, thank you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. I don't think In-N-Out's terrible. And Tab, you know what? Tab is out of commission. They don't make Tab anymore. Luckily, I have a couple of friends that have sent me some, so I have a little bit of a stock. It won't last that long, I don't think. And, I mean, it will spoil after not that long, like 6 or 8 months or something like that. But I do have some for the time being. Where is the Three Stooges, Curly Howard? What cemetery? Curly is in Home of Peace Cemetery with Warner Brothers, and Shemp is in there. One of the Baskin from Baskin Robbins is in there, and there's a lot more. But I think it's where Louis B. Mayer is too. I think. Let's see. Have I been to the Salton Sea? I haven't been to the Salton Sea this time. I have been there before. And but I have not. I haven't been this time, and I want to go out there and do some stuff about it. CKG, Tracy Rothmeyer's WCKG. Yeah, man, they had the coolest stuff. That radio station. They changed Dodger dogs, and they are gross now. No more Farmer John's. Yeah, I don't want to discuss meat because people are veggies and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a certain style of hot dog, and save the snide comments. There's a certain type of hot dog that you want and that you don't. And yeah. Going to Chicago soon. Any recommendations? I haven't been to Chicago in probably 10 years. I love Chicago, but it's real different now than it was when I lived there. Have you ever checked out Eloy's or Sanitarium? Nope. In Inkster? Nope, haven't. My Aunt Mary worked as this is another word, I can't say, mental patient. She worked at a sanitarium up in Traverse City. I forget what it's called. I think it's called the Traverse Sanitarium. I think is what it's called. Now it's like a shopping thing, and it's open for tours, and they do, back then I remember going up there. This was in Traverse, and my Aunt Mary lived in Kingsley. So we drove her to work one day, and she's wearing her just like Nurse Ratched did in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. In fact, I went to see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with my Aunt Mary, and she's like, "That's work for me." That's exactly what it was like. And but I remember dropping her off, and there were these ladies, these clearly, people that should be in sanitariums, staring out the window and waving at my Aunt Mary and looking down at us and yelling. And it was just, these people could have just got out and jumped probably if they wanted to. But that was, normal. I don't know. Kids normally get exposed to this kind of stuff. I don't know, but I don't regret 1 second of it. It was very interesting. Rod K, where did I live in Detroit? I was the East Side, Harper Cadieux, Jefferson, or Chalmers, and around that area. But yeah, my address, if you want to Google it, it's 12001 East Outer Drive, and you can check it out. You'll see what it's like. That round island, that weird intersection that looks like nothing, but people got killed there a lot. Let's see, Pen Pal at Tex Watson, great. Fago Pop, never liked Fago, to be honest with you, because there's no caffeine in it, and I need caffeine when I drink the pop. Pop, see? When did I become interested in death? Well, that was being exposed to it since I was young, very young, and it didn't bother me. It always sort of gravitated towards it, and that sort of thing. Let's see, Westfield, no. Hey, David, Bobcat Goldthwait, love that movie, Chicks the Clown. That's a hell of a movie. I love that movie. Oldest grave or cemetery you've been? I don't know, maybe in Prague or something like that. The Jewish cemetery in Prague, or some graves in England, oh, for sure. I mean, my God, people are, died in the year one. And yeah. Pop shop, party stores. That's the other thing. I used to love party stores. Party stores where you just go and get like those little wax bottles of sugar water and stick pretzels and water balloons. Man, that was awesome. Remember the lady that walked into our... Wait a second. There's a story there. Fresca, I do. I do remember that. Rochester with a closet full of tears, loot part of stuff. Oh, there's another story. Wow. Yes, that's my sister Joe. Hey, Joe. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So here's another story. And I can't believe I didn't remember this one. So at our house on this corner, Detroit wasn't the way it became back then. And this would have been probably around that same time, 71, 72. And I remember my mom and I were in the TV room, which was, on the other side of the house. And the screen door wasn't locked. We didn't lock our screen doors back then. And we heard the screen door open and close in the living room, and all the lights are off. And so my mom gets up and she goes to the living room. And I remember her saying, "Oh," and she turned the lights on, and there was this lady in our living room. And she was in a hospital gown. She was a black woman in a hospital gown with this enormous afro. I don't know if she used Afro Sheen. And came in, just walked in to our living room, and she said, "I'm from Ypsilanti, where this institution is, or sanitarium in Eloise." Like my sister just reminded me of that. Eloise. Okay, that's what it is. She walked, and she said she walked from Ypsilanti, which is like an hour away. So I don't know if that's necessarily true, but she was really zoned out. It was just me and my mom. And she says, I came from Ypsilanti in a hospital gown, and she wanted to see her people. So I would imagine it's her family that she wanted to come and see. She just walked into our living room. So I remember my mom made her, "Did you have a seat?" Because we had people in our house from accidents and stuff. They come and sit on our sofa and stuff while the police were coming. So my mom, had actually invited her into the dining room, and I remember my mom was telling me this later, that she was serving fruitcake to her, and she's got the knife right there. My mom kept looking at the knife and looking at the lady, and this was like seriously like a mental patient that was on the loose. I mean, totally seriously, walked into our house. And my mom, well, finally the lady sat on the sofa and fell asleep on the sofa. So my mom got a chance to call the police. And she says, this lady in a hospital gown just walked into my house. And the cop says, "Oh, is she black lady?" And my mom said, "Yeah." She goes, "We'll be right there." So they knew who they were looking for. She must have been reported missing from this sanitarium or institution in Ypsilanti, an hour away, and they came and got her. But that's another thing about living at this intersection. It was just a trip. And yeah. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to stop talking now, because you guys are You guys have been great, and I appreciate it. And mental patients and orthopedic schools and handicaps and disabilities, and it was something. Uh, good night, Donnie. Thanks for coming. And double dips in the candy stick you dip in powder. Yep, sure do remember those sugar sticks. Yes, yes. And going to the Dairy Queen and getting those ice creams dipped in that plastic, coating, candy coating. I was like, oh my God, that was the best. That was the best. Um, Anthony Bourdain episode was great. It's sad at the same time. Yeah, Anthony Bourdain was a nice guy. Sad, very sad what happened to him. Let's see. Someone drove through your backyard when I was in junior high. Guy was through, yeah. Yeah, I think that happened. Actually, no, I don't think anyone ever drove into our backyard. We had a couple of cars hit, for sure, but I don't think anyone actually drove into our backyard. They don't. House across the street. If you look at my address, you'll see there's a stucco house across the street, and on that crazy intersection, and some woman just drove right into their house, and they were on the sofa, and they got literally shoved into the room because somebody drove into their house. It's crazy. Okay, you guys have been great. I did not like Pepsi Light. Do I have any Prince items? I do have just a prescription bag from the pharmacy, but not the actual one, but from his pharmacy that somebody got for me, and I think that's it. I'm going to go because you guys have been great and you guys have bared with me, and I appreciate that. And I thought you wouldn't mind hearing that story, those stories, and okay, so I'm going to go. And I'm hopefully going to turn this thing off and not delete this thing so I can maybe add some photos to this thing. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your time and for your attention. Please like and subscribe because that's a big deal here, and I appreciate it. And for you kind people who threw a couple of bucks at me through the chat, I appreciate it. And yeah, very much so. Take care. Until next time.